Hello and welcome. We got a lovely sheep here and we have another game, game 2 of Michael's The Huddle Tournament, and we might as well get the ball rolling right off the bat. Today, it's another 1v1 Arabia. So the first round of the tournament, 1v1 Arabia, one person versus one person. Nice and simple. See who wins and the victor will absorb the loser. We just got that last game between Jonk and Quarkwobble, which is still very difficult to say. This game's different. This game is between Parthian in the blue. Now he's a new face. I don't think he's competed at any of my tournaments before. His real name's Michael Brown, and he's playing over here as the Huns. Great choice for Arabia, very classic choice. The best thing about the Huns, of course, is they don't have to build houses. Huns don't need houses. And he's got a very nice start here, just collecting those sheep nice and neatly underneath the town centre and getting some scouting in while he's at it. He's found his other two sheep, and you can see his boar here. So nice smooth start for Parthian. On the left side of the map, however, in the north, we have an old favourite. Many of you will recognise this name. It's Huddle. He's the winner of Michael's Hidden Cup last year. He is the winner of 2 boys, 1 cup competition. He is the winner. I think that's the main competitions. There's one actually. He's even beat me once, so this guy's no joke. And he's currently in the green, a very nice colour. He likes playing in green. I think he thinks it makes him harder to see on the mini map. You know, like he looks like he just looks harder to see. We'll make him something else. I can make him whatever I want. I can make him orange. I can make him. I love this tool. We can make them the same colour. That's silly. Anyway, so he's got a nice simple start. He's playing as the Spanish, which is a fun little civ to play. He's just getting some scouting around now. Scouting the back, definitely looking for the rest of his sheep. Where are they? They're up here. He hasn't found them yet, but he will get them soon. He's got 2 more sheep to go before he has to find them. And you can see the scout of Parthian going past, just passing. A little bit late there, Hone. Maybe he's out of practice. He did get 2 volley shots off though, and that almost went down. Luring in his boar now, because he hasn't found his other sheep. And are these sheep going to be found by Parthian? They are. Is he going to take them for himself? He is. Sheep lamed by Parthian. That might alter the build order that Hone is so used to sticking to this early in the game. He's still going to be scouting with his scout, and I doubt that this scout is going to be going this way fast enough. So these sheep have been stolen, and a fantastic opening play by Parthian, who didn't really scout his own base very well. Maybe he no, he did get that sheep down there. He did send that over quite quickly, and he really did nail the location. Read the map really well. Find out where Hone was. Boar coming in, using the TC to kill the boar. Oh no, how embarrassing. I'm glad I saw that. Okay, so for those who don't know, in Age of Empires 2, you need to lure your boars. As you can see, Jamie's done it over here, and you do that by sending a villager out and doing 1 or 2 shots and then coming back. And then you can use the other. Steal my sheep. Hone said, "Did you steal my sheep?" Yes, he did, Hone. He did steal your sheep. There goes your carefully organised ... build order. Here, hopefully he'll do this one correctly. Ouch. Ouch. At least he didn't lose a villager. That's all I have to say. Anyway, when he came down here, usually use your villagers to kill the boar, just like that. But if you want to be tricksy, what you can actually do, accidentally, I suppose, he was just lucky with his scouting, wasn't he? What you can do is you can actually put your villagers inside the town centre, and you can use the town centre's garrison villager arrows to shoot the boar. Now that can be A, stylish, a lot of style points, especially if you pull it off. But B, you lose less villager HP, which makes it quite handy. And it can be faster in some ways too. And Parthian tried to do that, but when the final hit is the town centre, all the food goes to waste. All the food rots and disappears instantly, because the final hit has to be from a villager to get the food in. So it's a good thing Parthian stole those 2 sheep, because that's going to somewhat make up for the fact that he doesn't have a boar. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for these deer shortly later on to try get that food eco. You can see in the chat, I killed a boar with my TC. Yes, Parthian, you did. Yes, you did. How embarrassing. Alright. So just standard openings at this stage. Going to stone very early for Hone, actually. That's a bit weird. That's very weird, actually. And over here we have a house. So Hone's the Spanish. What do the Spanish have got going for them? Well, they have faster building villages. So the villagers can build buildings faster. And this usually makes them quite good for a tower rush, because that tower goes up just that about, I think it's 15% faster, which makes it a lot harder to counter with your own tower. And it just makes the whole tower rush happen faster and a lot more menacing. And sending villagers to stone this early is Hone just saying, yes, you can have those sheep if you lost your boar. Fair enough. I think Hone's feeling quite comfortable this game. But yeah, they build their buildings faster. They also got a bunch of other little bonuses too. The blacksmith upgrades only cost food, not gold. That's really handy. Very strong civilization. Of course, Huns. What do we expect from the Hun player? We're expecting archers in feudal age, maybe cav archers in castle age, even knights or scouts. And the big gimmick of this civilization is they don't have to make houses, so you actually save a lot of wood, especially in the early game when wood is at a premium. You're really trying to get as many archery ranges, and maybe you're making wood lines that are a little bit closer to the wood line. Look how long they have to carry these wood. Look at this. She just gave up. She's just going to go off, do something else. She's like, I'm not doing this all game. I'm going to do anything else. I'm going to go farm nice and close to the TC where it's safe. That's fair enough too. Look at this wood line. This is a wood line. I mean, it's still on a diagonal, but it's a lot more efficient, and you can see why. A little bit better on the wood line placing there for Hone compared to Parthian. And that might be betraying a slight skill difference that we're seeing, or at least some, not skill difference maybe, but practice. Maybe recent practice. I know that Hone has been playing over the weekend. You always say, Hone, come do a tournament. He's like, oh, cool, I won't practice this time. And then it's the whole weekend he's just playing games. Don't let Dave, his boss, hear that, though. He should be writing his thesis. Look at this. It's closer, but it's not actually the whole way. It's only halfway. Like, he should have built it right here. Up against the wood line. Because, like, this first line of trees, that's going to disappear in a couple minutes. So maybe put this really close. At this rate, you'll be building another one in another 5 minutes, so that's kind of fun. I like this actually. It's a little quirky. Thank you, Parthian, for making the game a little quirky. This farm over here, a little bit far away from the town centre, maybe. This is quite vulnerable now to any early aggression. We'll see if any early aggression is going to come in by Hone, and it doesn't look like it. Hone's gone up to the feudal age, and he's currently got 26 villages, so this looks like a very classic fast castle build for him. In contrast, we're only looking at 23 villages for Parthian, so maybe just not keeping that town centre as busy as he would like, although he did just get to feudal age, so that time that could have been taken up just by the research time. And does Hone have loom? We can click. He does have loom. Does Michael Brown have loom? He does not have loom. So if any kind of aggression comes in, Parthian might be in trouble. Villagers are very weak. In fact, even the scout from Hone could kill a villager right now, but instead he's a little bit preoccupied. A single militia just coming off from Parthian's base, getting an idea, and it's going to get cleaned up pretty fast here. Need more than one, I think, Parthian. I'm not sure if these guys have watched the game between Jonk and Quackwobble, but potentially getting some inspiration from the early militia rush that happened in the previous game. Very confident Hone, just kind of outside of his walls, getting this deer, getting that extra food in. Nice and walled up too, very safe. Unfortunately has Parthian's scouts stuck inside, and very good of him to see this hole at the back edge. That can be your undoing sometimes. Nice and safe by Hone, and I think he's definitely trying to put himself into a bit of a late game position. I think he feels quite confident against Michael Brown in the late game, so he's not taking any chances. We have 2 stables coming up for Parthian, and I think because of the Hun player and he's already on gold, I think we should be expecting knights, yeah. And he is making 1 or 2 scouts, which I don't know if is the right idea. I think he should be trying to get to castle age as fast as possible, as that's clearly what his opponent has done by walling up and not doing any aggression himself. The reason Parthian's score is ahead, of course, is because Hone's score is lower because he's already used all the resources. And he's on his way to castle age. So Hone in a pretty good position right now, and putting himself in a position where it should all go well for him in the future as long as he keeps it up. And I think we are expecting him to keep that up. Using his villager just to kill the scout of Parthian in the north there. Not a bad move, not a bad move. He doesn't want Parthian to know what he's up to inside the walls. That being said, I think Parthian has done some reasonable scouting of Hone's base. He kind of knows what's going on inside there. He knows there's an extra gold in the back. He knows that these wood lines are all vulnerable. So, with a bit of like Parthian, maybe putting some archers on the edges of these wood lines, taking Hone off wood, of course, and not letting him out of his little house would be very, very good. And that would stop him from farming and stop him from doing a whole host of things. That would actually be very powerful. But instead, we're seeing scouts from the Huns player, not archers. And he's coming forward with scouts, and the problem with scouts is twofold. One, Hone's already walled, and it's going to take a long time for these scouts to get through these walls. And if they do start hitting on the walls, what will end up happening is Hone will just build a house behind and just keep thickening the walls so that those scouts actually never get through. Good thing he caught the back here, because those scouts are trying to get through, and Parthian just finding that out now, desperately trying to find a way in, and Castle Age coming from Hone, and he's saying, well, I'm just going to put a castle up in defense, and there's nothing that Parthian can do about this. Parthian has just been a bit too slow, and here's that house coming up behind the walls that are getting battered. Now Hone could just as easily have just repaired this wall with the villager, and that would work as well. But he's just going to thicken the walls. He probably needs to build a house or two anyway. He's not Huns. He has to still build houses. This castle comes up in defense. And we'll see what Hone's next move is. So he could go into Conquistadors, which is the unique unit of Spanish. Very powerful in this situation. And a couple of those would probably quite quickly deal a lot of damage to Parthian in this instance. Another back wall coming up here. I would kind of like to see this one stone, actually. He's got a little bit of excess stone. Just to make it, really tell Parthian, your scouts aren't getting through here, buddy. There's nothing you can do. Parthian found out there's a castle on the front the hard way. There's 2 dead scouts. And no doubt right now he's rethinking his position. He's thinking, oh dear. I suppose Hone is in Castle Age. I suppose I need to stop wasting all my food on scouts, which aren't doing lickety-split. And I need to go to Castle Age myself. Couple of idols here, not the sharpest game. 3 idols for Parthian, no idols for Hone. And we're at 35 vills versus 37 respectively. Which is actually, Parthian's gained a couple of vills there. These scouts still desperately trying to come in, do a little bit of damage. Hone's just going to keep walling this off. See, a single archer here would make all the difference. Just archers. Archers was the way to go. Hone's scout, just finding out what Parthian's up to. Not a lot of HP. Not going to see anything fancy come in here. And also, Parthian doesn't have loom, so he could actually maybe find a weak villager. Especially this one. I'm kind of disappointed in Hone, actually. He could have done the donk. He could have donked that villager and killed it. No loom. These scouts are almost getting in. Parthian, I feel like he might be a little frustrated. He's going up to Castle Age now. That's good. He must be, I don't know, being a little tentative. He knows he's a bit behind. He knows he's late to the Castle Age, and he knows that he might be in trouble soon. Meanwhile, Hone just chugging along, keeping his town centre busy. And oh, he's going to Imperial Age. So it's a fast Imperial from Hone. A very, very greedy build. And that explains why all these walls have come up. He didn't want anything getting in. He wanted to get to Imperial Age as fast as humanly possible. And that also explains the castle. When you do a fast imp, you really want to just put a castle up in defense. You don't want to be getting raided left, right, and center. And honestly, with this kind of greedy play, Parthian should have just chucked down 2 archery ranges and done archers on all of these wood lines. That would have really changed the game, I think. Or even tower rush. Usually if you see your opponent start walling up like this, you can just come forward and start dropping towers on all of these wood lines. And you'll note that Parthian only has 1 little bit of stone here. And there's actually stone outside of his walls, so you'd definitely win a tower war in Feudal Age if you did that. But we'll see what happens now as Parthian desperately scrambles. His scout play has not paid off. He's not got into the walls. He's not done any damage. And I don't know how many scouts he's made, but it might have been 8. Maybe not 8. Maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe 5. There's 4 in view right now, and 2 died. So somewhere between 5 and 8. And it's a lot of food, and that partially explains why he's so late to Castle Age. And gets to Castle Age as Hone hits the Imperial Age, and now Parthian must be thinking, uh-oh, I am in trouble. He's going to chuck down 2 more stables. What is he thinking? He has some gold. He's got a pretty decent food economy. Another town centre going down for Hone. More booming for him. I'm surprised maybe he doesn't just pump out 1 or 2 conquistadors from his castle just to sit behind these wood lines and deal with these scouts. The scout was about to get in. 34 HP left on this palisade. Hone only just now remembering to repair it, and he's running back. And I really don't understand this because it's not like anything else on the map is coming to him. It's not like Parthian is in danger or anything. I think he's just feeling a little bit scared. Hone is in the Imperial Age after all. But he has switched into knights, which is not a bad idea. He's researching, Town Watch. He's wondering, is anything going to come at me? He's putting another town centre up. This is a really good teaching moment, actually. This is a terrible town centre position. Where's a better town centre position? Down here in the corner, although it might not fit with the hill there, between these trees, so it's nice and close up against a wood line. Between these trees, over here by the gold in the trees. So usually you want to try hit 1 or 2 resources at a time. Even a town centre out here by this gold, even though it's kind of ranged down by this hill, is still closer to the gold in the trees. And this is only good for farms. That's all that this town centre is going to do, is protect some farmers. And you kind of want your town centre to protect more than that. Over here, beautiful spot for a town centre, right in there. But we don't see that from Parthian in this game, as I think he is a little bit confused. What is Hone doing? Why is he in the Imperial Age? And why hasn't he attacked me yet? Surely he's winning the game. Lots of knights coming in and potential for some damage. I think if he waited a second longer, these villagers were going to go delete the wall and come outside, but instead we're seeing a town centre in defence. Very interesting. This palisade wall will go down, but the foundation of the town centre will stop them from coming through. And this is the first real actual danger Hone's been in all game. These knights do make short work of palisades. Short enough that it's going to be a lot harder for him to wall behind. He's going to keep trying to come in. He can walk right in now, actually. As you can see, the villagers walking out. He could just walk straight in. And that would have been quite fun to watch, actually, because a lot of these villagers would have had to be garrisoned. And honestly, if he had just been making only knights from these 4 stables, I don't know why he built 4 stables and isn't making knights out of all of them. He could have just run in and just kept this entire economy pretty stationary for a long time and really got himself back into the game. But instead, we're going to go hit more walls in this corner. Not ideal. And nice and easy for Hone just to put some houses up behind those walls in defense. Very passive play from Hone. He's biding his time. We're looking at 5 TCs. So he's desperately trying to make as many villages as possible here. And a little stone wall as well. He doesn't want these knights getting in. He doesn't even, he's not taking any risks, Hone. Not tonight. As these knights try to find another way in. He could just walk in. He could just walk in. He only has the first armor upgrade, so they will get a little bit of damage, but only fletching has been researched by Hone, so it's not too bad. Hone realizing this, a couple of houses in defense. He's hoping that those knights won't just sweep in, and also I suppose this is not really enough knights. Parthian really needed to have done more damage by now and maybe made more army. Recognizing that he was behind, he needed to do something drastic to keep himself in the game. It's interesting just by how the choices he's made up until this point have put him into this position. Especially considering, you look at the idle TC time, it's not super different. A little bit more idle TC time from Parthian, but not much more. And here we have a lot of villagers coming forward. And these are Spanish villagers too. And I'm now thinking, Hone is Spanish. And Spanish, for those who know the game, have a unique technology. That was really poor. Did he just not see those? Did he just... I don't think he's patrolling. I think he was just moving his people around. Hone's just going to come out and just build a town centre on this wood line because he can. No worries for him. Lots of villagers doing that. And I wonder, has he got supremacy? And I think he has. looking at the stats on these villages. 3+6 attack. Normally it's 3+0. So the Spanish have a special research from their castle. They only get it in Imperial Age, and it's called Supremacy. And you can see how strong this villager is now. This is like Loom on steroids. This is Loom++. And now all of Hone's villages are actually much more of a military threat than Parthian's small group of horse people. So that's pretty embarrassing for Parthian at this stage, I'd say. He's putting up a castle in defense, and that's a good move. I don't like the position. Like, what is it doing here? It should be up on this hill. Even up on this hill over here to protect this gold would be really, really nice. And moving your farming eco behind the castle and taking over this side of the map where all the resources are. The only thing this castle does is protect the front of the base and this gold, which... not too bad, not too bad. But still, finally putting up a 4th TCs, thinking I should boom my way back into this game. It might be a little bit too late for that, Parthian. We're getting even more town centres up for Hone. He's going as many town centres as he can afford. More villages are coming forward here. And I think I know what we're about to see. We're about to see the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. It's going to be all of these villages with their boosted stats from that Supremacy technology. And I think Hone's planning to very stylishly not make any military this game. I think he's just going to win just with the villagers. Researching handcart now, making those villagers walk a little bit more faster. That's going to be very important for when he does his attack. A lot of town centres here. And can Parthian see this? He can. He's like, what's going on here? And at this stage, alarm bells have to be ringing. They have to be ringing. They have to be. He has to be thinking, uh-oh. Hone's Spanish, and I think I know what's coming. He's finally clicked up into Imperial himself. Not that it's going to help. I think what he needs is a lot of archers or a lot of knights. Something that will be able to deal with these villages quite quickly. Meanwhile, a lot of idols for Hone. He's not quite got the speed yet to control all of these guys. Maybe he's waiting for sappers to be researched. He's definitely researching Bodcanera. And he's got a lot of villages queued. He's up to 133 villages right now, and I don't think he's stopping anytime soon. Here comes the army, all coming together, and I suspect sappers is already being researched, potentially. And he's coming in for the attack. And I'm surprised he's not going to go straight for the castle. Tarkin coming out for Parthian, not the unit I would have chosen. Here come the villagers. And they're just going to straight fight back against these knights. This is the big revolution. The Spanish are sick and tired of the Huns on their lands, and here they come, tearing down this town centre. These villagers could try come in here, or at least repair it, and send some arrows these villagers' way, but they won't do a lot of damage. Not at this stage of the game, and here we have more villagers taking down the knights, taking down the army. The problem here, of course, is that military units, they attack automatically. But villagers, you have to task them. You have to manually click them and tell them what to attack, and once they're finished attacking, they'll just stand there and stop. So Hone has to be very active here. Very, very active if he wants to keep his army moving and doing things. He's going to make another town centre. He's coming in, he's tearing down this wall for no real reason. I don't know what... There we go. Go to the town centre. Here we go. All these light cav desperately trying to get hits off against these villagers, but just not enough damage here. He needs knights. He needs archers to do it from a distance. Putting up a tower in defense, completely unnecessary. I don't know what you're doing here. Many towers coming in against the town centre of Parthian. Again, losing a lot of villagers here. And ooh, I clicked away. Hone might need to be a little careful. Because there's actually quite a lot of light cav here. Like 17 light cav. It's getting to a level of light cav where I don't think Hone has the micro capacity to tell all these villagers to keep attacking all these light cav one after another, and maybe that's why he's actually building all of these watchtowers. Is he's hoping the watchtowers will slowly whittle away enough the light cav, and he won't have to make as many villages. He just queued up a ton more villages. All of these town centres should now be working quite fast. What is really interesting is he's keeping all of his eco working at home. Normally when you see someone do this, they just grab all of their eco, and all of those villagers are helping in the attack too, and that makes it so much more sudden. But here you can see a lot of Hone's villagers getting cleaned up by the light cavalry, and I don't think we expected this. I don't think we thought Parthian would turn on the production this heavily against Hone. And you can see the scores starting to edge a little closer. Parthian trying to get his, well, he's still got idle town centres, and so he's not got maybe enough villagers, to be honest. But he does have 80, and that's enough to keep pumping out these light cavalry. He's going to go out, try stop off the reinforcements from Hone, and I think at this stage Hone must be thinking, I don't think my fun, crazy strat's working as well as I had hoped. A very nice trebuchet from Parthian, and this will just take out the town centres, which of course is the effective production building of Hone. So if he can just slowly whittle these town centres down, that's actually quite expensive. There's about 700 gold stone that's been invested into all of these town centres. So if they go down, that's the equivalent of taking out maybe a castle and a little bit more. Hone doesn't want this. He's going to send all of these villagers to go take out that trebuchet, or maybe even the castle. I don't know if Hone's got sappers, but we'll soon find out. It looks like he might do. No, I don't think he does. I don't think Hone's researched sappers, which is a huge problem. So sappers is a technology that makes your villagers very effective against fortifications and walls. And as you can see, this castle will probably actually be dead by now if he had sappers researched, but it's simply not. They may be Spanish villagers, but they're not that good, and I think he might be realizing that he's forgotten sappers, and he's going to withdraw all of these light cav coming in, just the right unit, only costing food, nice and cheap, and Parthian just knows that he needs to get as many as possible. The more he has, the harder they are to micro against, and Hone's just not going to be able to use his villagers to finish this game off like he wanted to. He was hoping to finish it in style, and it's just not working. Where are these going to go now? Is Parthian thinking, you know what, I've got this under control. Let's go hit Hone where it hurts. He's only got one castle in defense. He's got a lot of idle villagers. You can see this is not normal Hone standard. He is so taken up with microing on the front that he can't actually manage his eco at home. Not very well. And if all of these guys come in and start raiding around here, he's going to lose that villager lead very quickly. What are we doing? We're coming in. We're doing some damage. Hone's going to see this. Is he going to respond? What are you doing, Parthian? I suppose you do have to kind of respond to this, but that's what this army's for. Just send this army in and it'll be fine. Don't take it back. No, this is how you lose the game, Parthian. No. This could have done so much damage. It could have just waltzed in here and destroyed so many of these villages, making it completely idle. Hone only has so much resources left. He's still sticking to his guns though. He's still thinking, I want to just make as many villages as possible. You can tell he's switching into some barracks now. I think he's realizing I need just some spearmen to counter all of these cavalry. I can't do it without the spearmen, thinks Hone. So he's cheating a little actually, to be honest. He's saying, I need some. I just need some. I can't do it all. I can't micro it all. He's only one man, after all. Here come those trebuchets. They're going to make very quick work of this town centre. And if I was Parthian, I'd keep those trebuchets up. I'd start taking down these barracks before Hone has a chance to mass a lot of spearmen. They're not even pikemen yet. They're not very upgraded. He's only just got forging. There's the pikeman upgraded now. Going to be a lot more effective now. What Parthian really needs is Hussar. He can afford that upgrade. He needs to expand. Another beautiful lumber cap. A nice healthy 2 or 3 tiles away from the wood line there. Really good to see at this level in the game, Parthian. Again, all of these cavalry really doing work, but the pikes are in the game now. And what we really need to see is some of those lovely Hunnish cavalry archers, and we're just not seeing that just yet. All of those watchtowers gone down. Each one of those watchtowers 125 stone each. Hone has lost a lot of stone this game, and you can see there's no stone left, and look how idle so much of his economy is. He has 19 idle villages compared to the 7 of Parthian right now. Although he does have 190 villages, if I'm reading that correctly, so doesn't mind if he loses a couple at this stage. Castle up in defense, switching to gold. I think Hone's realized, unfortunately, I have not pulled off my great Spanish Inquisition plan. It's not worked. I'm going to have to switch into something a little bit more viable, and I might have underestimated Parthian here. Parthian's spreading out across the map. He's starting to get his roll on. He needs to keep making as many of those horses as possible. Here are those archery rangers finally. Hopefully we'll see some of those lovely Hunnish cheap cav archers to counter these halberdiers, which are now what Jamie's fielding. Those halberdiers will make short work of any cavalry that come in, and I wish that counter-attack had happened. Oh my goodness, that would have won Parthian the game right then and there, taken the hubris of Huddle, and that would have been quite the upstart, right? Huddle's won every single tournament that I've ever hosted. Imagine if he had just lost to that raid, that would have been fantastic. A lot of idle villagers on this wood line, they're going to go take the gold. Again, I don't know what's going on with this town centre placement. It should be up against... Like, right here is so perfect. It's right next to the wood, it's right next to the gold. Is he thinking I can put farms around this? Is that really what you value around your town centre? Farmers? Here come a lot of halberdiers. These guys have a lot of extra damage against horses. So you can see these horses are just going to melt. They're just going to absolutely disappear. They're going to be less effective against the villagers, but still effective enough. Effective enough to be annoying. These knights shouldn't even be here. They shouldn't be engaging. It's just not going to happen. I'd be surprised if they get more than 2 kills. And they're very expensive, these knights. So Huddle really amping up. He's got... how many villagers? It's hard to tell. 167 villagers. That's what this number here is. And 29 military. He's finally switching into conquistadors. He's realized I can't do it with just villagers. I'm not that stylish. Not today. Maybe he is out of practice. Maybe the weekend wasn't enough. A lot of trebuchets doing nothing, but that's okay. We're taking out one of these town centers. Not that that's really the target anymore, I think. Going into crossbow, not the choice I would have done. I would have gone cav archer. Huns have very cheap cav archer. And unfortunately for Parthian, I think this might just be too many bad decisions in a row. All these bad decisions, they slowly add up, right? Like at first we had the bad decision in Feudal Age to go scouts against a walled opponent and not go archers. And then later on we had the bad decision to... well, actually, it wasn't too bad. He did his best to get to Castle Age and get to Imperial Age. He made the right decision to make as many light cav as he could to deal with the villagers. But now this bad decision is going to compound the other ones. He's going to not have cav archers. He's going to have crossbowmen. Now crossbowmen will work against halberdiers, but they're not cheap and they don't have the mobility like the cavalry archers would. And the cavalry archers will be a lot more strong in this context. You could just run them out, kill the treb, run them back. He can't run them with these crossbowmen. They just have to walk everywhere. Look how slow they are. Just marching in stupid little lines. I mean, he does have the cavalry to do that, and but he can't do that with the cavalry because there's too many pointy boys in the way. All these pointy boys. All these villagers, they don't have to run Huddle. You got supremacy, you can just keep doing whatever it is you were doing. Maybe repairing the trebuchet, for example. That would have been nice. That's okay. Here come the conquistadors. Now, Huddle has a very large economy at this stage. I'm surprised he's not pushing Parthian back. I think he's... his attention is spread in too many places, perhaps. He just spent a lot of time getting his eco back in order. He only has 13 idols now. And I believe those might be the 13 idols on the front here. Here they are here. A little engagement here. Very beautiful. Holding the hill by Parthian. A lot of extra attack damage that he's getting. 25% less damage uphill and 25% bonus damage downhill. So that's why that fight went so poorly for Huddle, who's actually got elite conquistadors. So these guys are practically fully upgraded. He doesn't have the armor upgrades for them yet, which is he should definitely get. But in contrast, these crossbows don't even have the second range upgrade, so they're kind of bad. To put into context, these guys are kind of somewhere between Feudal and Castle Age, and they're going up against Imperial Age units. So what Parthian really needs is not these ones, or he needs to upgrade them. Or do something, and you can see that he's just going to keep losing, even though he has the hill. And he's up against a smaller force, but he's still taking so many losses. And I feel fairly confident that Huddle is going to be able to reinforce a little quicker here. He's got a much more stronger economy. That saying, Parthian has boomed quite well now. He's up to 118 villages. He's a real threat. He just needs to get those upgrades in. He's getting his own halberdiers now. I think he recognizes that he can spam halberdiers all day. Again, crossbowmen, they're doing the job, but I still would have liked to see cav archer. They would be so much more tankier and more powerful in this instance. But maybe we'll see him get Arbalister. He should be getting that upgrade any second. I'm pretty sure Huns get Arbalister. And that would really change this game for the better for him. He could get a nice death ball of Arbalisters. Here we go. Hone still making use of the fact that he has too many villagers. He's going to send them in against this town centre. That town centre doesn't have any backup nearly fast enough. If only these crossbowmen were cav archers and they were on horses and they can actually run in and deal with this and run back. But here they are going to come in against these conquistadors. And again, no bodkin arrow, no bracer. They only have +1 range, these crossbowmen, so 5 +1 tiles is very short. In fact, they're almost outranged by the conquistadors, which have just a flat 6 range. If he had just gotten the upgrades, these would easily outrange the conquistadors, and Hone would have a much harder time engaging. Instead, he's going to go up against this university. Cavalier being researched by Parthian. And he's trying to get ballistics, which he should have gotten a long time ago, but I don't think he's going to get ballistics, because I think you'll find that university is going to go down before ballistics is researched. Ballistics being the research that makes these arrows stop missing on moving targets. You can see they're not killing that villager until he stops moving. All those trebuchets going down to conquistadors, a very strong unit. On the front, lots of halberdiers, I should say. Having a little kerfuffle. At this stage, Hone's just throwing away these halberdiers. I don't think he's paying too much attention to them. He's mainly focused maybe on protecting his trebuchets and making sure that all of these villagers start taking out buildings. I don't know why he's targeting the market too much. Definitely not a problem with Parthian right now. He's got a very decent economy. The only problem Parthian has right now is not making units. He doesn't have any units queued, and that's a big problem, because I tell you who does have units queued, Jamie. He's got a lot and a lot of elite conquistadors coming out of these 3 castles. He's got pikemen coming out of all of these barracks, and that just means he's just going to keep reinforcing. He's never not going to have a flood of units walking in. And where are the reinforcements for Parthian? He's not even making anything. He's still trying to get Paladin, but he doesn't have any stables really left to make Paladin from. Now, Paladin's a great choice, but it's not that great, because Hone already has the sticks. He already has the pointy boys. And these guys aren't far off from being Paladins, and you can see how quickly they're going to go down. It's still too much bonus damage. It's not the right choice. I think Parthian's really misread the state of the game by choosing to waste over 1,600 food and 800 gold on the Paladin upgrade. I don't think we'll see a single Paladin in this game. He doesn't have the gold to make knights, so he's making Hussar right now, the Paladin coming in. Hold on, here they are. Maybe the first and last Paladins of the game happen to be underneath the town centre. There they are, Paladin comes in. And these are the knights of the round table for Parthian. They're his last hope. He spent all of his resources getting this one upgrade for this one unit. And we'll see how fast that goes down. There it goes. And that's a real shame to see. No more Paladin on the way. And I just think that was the wrong choice. The wrong choice by Parthian. This game could have actually gone very, very differently. Over on the right-hand side, we can see more villagers just being annoying, taking out more of the economy from Parthian. And we're definitely starting to see the actual beginning of the end here. As Parthian must be realizing, oh heck, I think I might have thrown this game. He could be putting some villagers inside of this town centre to shoot arrows at the villagers as well as repair it, because he has enough villagers here, but he's definitely maybe a bit too distracted on the front. He is losing all of his army after all. All of these villagers are going to die very shortly. The unstoppable death ball of Spanish conquistadors. And it looks like Hone is going to take game number 2. Parthian saying, yes, I think this is GG, lol. Hone, lol. Interesting how Hone really tried to make the Spanish villagers work, but ultimately I'd call this a Spanish villager fail. He did have to make an actual army in the end to push, and you can see there the GG is called. Very well played by Hone, very well played by Parthian, and it's a shame that there was a couple of just major game decisions that really took him away there, which is a real shame. He definitely had several chances to win that game. Several chances, especially when he could have raided the eco of Hone early imp when the villager rush had failed. And you can see some really interesting stats here. For example, the effective actions per minute. We have 95 actions per minute at a peak for Parthian, and 145 actions per minute for Hone. So a little bit of a faster player, Hone. And we can actually maybe look at some of the statistics. I actually forgot to do this for the last game, but we won't forget this time. You can see that nice fast imp time coming in at a solid 24 minutes for Hone, going through the edges very quickly, very greedy, very defensive, didn't make anything until the very end when he really had to, because you can see here he really did his big push just as Parthian was hitting Imperial Age, and then ramped up that scout production. Very, very nice. You can see, interesting, very good. Oh, makes sense to have a higher military score, because Hone never really made a lot of military, but look at the differences in economy. And that really goes to show the power of economy in this game. Age of Empires 2. Go through some of the statistics here. They actually had the same sized army, but again, the technologies that Parthian had chosen, he never upgraded his archers, he never had Arbalister, he didn't even choose to go Cavalry Archer. All choices that would have helped him actually stay in and maybe even win that game. Going to the economy, obviously, nothing, no surprises there. Hone getting a lot more, but not that much more. Wood's very similar, and food is the big difference here. That makes a difference. A lot of this food wasted on dead villages, unfortunately, Hone. Technology, nothing surprising there. And we can actually see the APM of both players throughout the game, the actions per minute. Relatively maybe more even than what you'd expect. A couple of spikes. Right here you can see kind of where Hone was desperately trying to move as many villages as possible. Very interesting to see. Alright, with that, second game of the tournament. Hone versus Parthian. Parthian will now be absorbed into Hone, and they will be playing together on the next round. I hope you've all enjoyed this game, and I look forward to seeing you at the next one.